Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. All these videos that get posted on the subreddit right here. I make updates throughout the day with all the news that comes out. You can ask me a question. My teeth just grinded together. Sorry about that. You can talk strategy about the slate. Anything you need, I'll have this link down below. Apologies about that. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. So, before we get into my lineups, if you are looking for more in-depth content, sportsbooks, prize picks, DFS, I'll have my Discord link down below where I give you guys cores, player pools, private videos for main slate, night slate, cores for night slate, showdown, all that good stuff. It'll be linked down below. We had a really good day on the prop market today. But let's get into my lineups from today. This is my main lineup right here. My core, really good core today. John Collins, core play. Banton core play, Damian Lillard core play, and I told everyone Bobby Portis was damn near close to a core play for me as well. I mean, he was giga chalk. I mean, he should have been, whatever. And then second lineup, I went to, I had THT in this lineup, and once Semantics got started, I had to make some swaps, but still cast with SGA. But this is my main lineup here. Had this in a few entries, so really good day overall. But if you guys couldn't think it could have gotten worse with the injuries in the prop market today, so we went 9-3 on bets today. But my on prize picks, the ones that got injured got rebooted, but I took them on sportsbooks, and Keontae George got injured. Marvin Bagley got injured and Taylor Hendricks got injured. I had all three of those guys props. So, I mean, I don't understand what's going on with the injuries with either in my DFS lineups or sportsbook stuff that I take. It's just wild. So, unfortunate there, but let's get straight into the slate. Gonna make this a quick video. Let's go backwards. I feel like going backwards. Let's change it up. Indiana, Dallas, okay spot here. I mean, what is going on with Halliburton of late? What is going on? I can't say anything other than that he is just a contrarian option right now. I really can't. I guess the hamstring's just bothering him a decent amount. But yeah, I mean, if you want to hop on an unowned Halliburton at 9K going up against Dallas, I think it's fine for tournaments. Like if you're playing 150 max, I'd definitely be a little bit over the field, but man, I don't know what's going on with him late. I really don't. So I can't say anything other than he is just a tournament option of late. Pascal Siakam at 7.6. I mean, he'll play big minutes. It's a good spot here up against Dallas. I don't mind it. I'm not going to go out of my way to play him, but if I land on him, it's okay. Miles Turner at 6.6. It's a really good spot here. I always like targeting Dallas against bigs. Should play around 30 minutes. Just the minute ceiling with Miles Turner isn't great. Like, he's not going to play huge minutes, but an okay play. I think, we definitely have better center options. Like, center's pretty loaded today. You have Mobley, possibly with Boston being a bit shorthanded. You have Victor Wembanyama. You have Jarrett Allen there. You have Claxton. You have Kelly Olynyk. Like, decent amount of center options today. Wendell Carter Jr. going up against Charlotte. So Zach Collins potentially with Victor Wembanyama possibly out. So, but yeah, definitely some better point per dollar center plays that I prefer to Miles Turner, but yeah, I don't mind it. It's a pretty good spot. Then if Neesmith is out, Mathurin, Nembhard, those are going to be the two guys that get the bump, especially Mathurin. He's going to go from, playing low to mid 20s minutes to probably playing low to mid 30s minutes. And we know his ceiling is going to be higher usage when he's out there. So he'd probably be the standout play, probably my favorite play on Indiana if Neesmith gets rolled out. Nembhard's playable at 4.8K as well, but his rates at the 2 compared to the 1 are just much worse. But Neesmith, if he's out, would help. And if Neesmith is in, he should play over 30 minutes. Fine option. I think we will have better value, though. Moving on to Dallas. So Luka Doncic, really good spot here going up against the Pacers. I mean, if you can always fit Luka, he's always going to be the best spend up on the slate, right? Looking at the spend up options, you have Wemby, you have Luka. I think they're the two best spend ups on the slate. Even Victor Wembanyama, almost at 11K. I still think it's a really solid play, even going up against Houston as well. So Luka Doncic definitely up there as one of the best spend ups on the slate. Kyrie Irving's fine at 9K. I always just prefer getting up to Luka. PJ Washington's had really, really good games back to back, but all the other people chase that at 5.8K. Don't love much else here. But if Luka Doncic is out, we know what to do. Then Kyrie Irving looks amazing. Then Tim Hardaway Jr. looks amazing. Then Josh Green's a solid value. Then, PJ Washington becomes firmly in play. XM at 3.8K. We'll keep an eye. I know he's been on some type of limit, I believe. But yeah, there would be a lot to like here for Lucas. Kyrie, PJ, even Lively, Gafford, they'll kind of split the center position. Would prefer Lively to Gafford. Tim Hardaway Jr. would look really good. Josh Green would be a solid value. So there would be a lot to like here if Luka Doncic is out. Moving on to the San Antonio Spurs. Victor Wembanyama, like I just mentioned, is a really, really good spend up, even in a spot going up against Houston. I mean, he's one of the best fantasy producers in the NBA right now. Minutes have upticked of late. He's gotten into foul trouble. I believe he picked up 2 quick ones here. I'm not entirely sure there. I know he got into foul trouble here, but she'll play low 30s minutes. I mean, elite shot blocker, good rebounder, probably going to get you double-digit rebounds. Going up against Houston, it's fine. He's a really, really good spend up. Even at 10.7K, he's probably going to continue to be chalk, which I'm fine with. Not a good spot for anyone else here, though, but if Victor Wembanyama is out, Zach Collins is going to shoot up to probably the best value play on the slate. I would not fade him. If I was playing 20 max, I'd probably have close to 100%. And it's going to be more usage for everyone else. They started Branham last game. If Champagny is ruled out again, especially if Wemby's out, Branham's going to be a really, really solid value. Even if Wemby's in and Champagny's out and Branham starts again, I'd like him quite a bit for value. But if Wemby's out, Keldon looks decent. Showchan's a really good play. Trey Jones is solid. Vassell would have to do everything for this team. So there'll be a ton to like here if Victor Wembanyama is out. Moving on to Houston. It's a really, really good spot here. Tari Eason is going to be done for the year. I mean, it's hard not to like these guys. Sengun at 8.2K, really good spot. Should play high 30s minutes as long as he can stay out of foul trouble and the game stays competitive. He's been up, he's been down of late, but if that's going to keep his ownership down, even better. So I'm pretty high on Sengun. I think Fred VanVleet's going to be really, really popular tomorrow, but I think it's for good reason. He's really turning it on of late after having like pretty mid-month, I want to say. He's not going to leave the court. He's going to play around 40 minutes. Still a good spot. I still think he's too cheap. So Fred, I think, looks really, really solid. Jabari Smith finally had a bad game last game, but his rebounding numbers are up. He's playing close to 40 minutes. I don't mind him. He's probably my least favorite of the top 3 here. And then Jalen Green. I mean, this guy, his minutes have been huge of late. I like him quite a bit at 6.7K. Good matchup. He's probably going to be really, really, really popular tomorrow. Dylan Brooks is fine. Cam Whitmore is playable for value, but I'm not going to prioritize anyone else. But mainly like the main 4 here. I think if I had to rank them point per dollar, Fred, Sengun, Green, Jabari, but you can flip Sengun and Green. It's fine. Green will probably be more popular than Sengun if I had to guess. But not a good spot for Atlanta, but I'm going to continue to play probably DeJounte Murray until he's above 10K. Not saying I'm 100% going to be playing him tomorrow, but he's still a really solid play with no Trae Young. He's going to play 35 minutes. He's stuffing his stat sheet. He's doing absolutely everything. So I still really like DeJounte Murray. Bogey, we know, has a ceiling at 6.4K. Been a bit disappointing. It's probably going to keep the ownership down. Like, I would expect him to be really low owned, but we don't have to go far back to find 40, 45 fantasy point games with him, especially with Trae Young out. So intrigued by Bogey for tournaments. Jalen Johnson just there for me. And then Capella's minutes have slowly upticked of late. I would expect him to get low 20s minutes, probably like 25-ish minutes, 5.7K. It's reasonable. And then Sadiq Bey, very, very safe just because of the amount of minutes he's going to play. I don't know if I go to much else here, though. Moving on to the Knicks. So it all comes down to Jalen Brunson. So if Brunson's in, I absolutely love Brunson at 9.6K going up against the Atlanta Hawks. Just one of the best matchups in the league. He'll be up there. Him, Luka, Wemby, I really like. Brunson, like I said, I probably prefer Brunson to DeJounte Murray, by the way. But love Brunson if he plays. If he plays, tough to get to anyone else here at their price points. But if he's out, I mean, good amount to like here. Once again, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo. Very, very solid in the mid-range. I mean, Josh Hart's just playing 48 minutes a game right now. So we like those two quite a bit. Miles McBride will play 48 minutes if Jalen Brunson is out. Really like him if I put 5K if Brunson's out. Alec Burks might have to play a bit more. He'd be fine in tournaments. Bojan will get a bump at 6K. He is a ceiling. And then Precious with Hartenstein back probably would be my least favorite of this grouping, but still in play. Moving on to Detroit. So good thing with Detroit of late, they are running a tighter rotation, but at their price points, I'm not going to prioritize anyone. Cade's fine for me for tournaments. Also, Thompson's priced right. Ivy at 5.9K, I guess is okay. But all filler plays for me. Duran, don't like the spot. Simone, I believe, is off the bench. Not going to go there. Stewart, I mean, his minutes ever since coming back have been very, very high. 5.3K, I guess is solid to reasonable, but really tough matchup here going up against Miami. Moving on to Miami. So Harrow, Love, Richardson going to remain out here. So you're going to see a starting lineup of Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, and Nikola Jovic. Jovic basically a spot. So I would expect around 20 minutes from him, which makes him a playable value at that price point. And then might have gotten into a little bit of foul trouble. I'm not entirely sure there. And I like the main guys here. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, I think are very, very solid in the mid-range. Bam should be able to feast here up against this front court. Terry Rozier should play low to mid-30s minutes. I think he's fine. I think I prefer getting up to like a Butler, Bam Adebayo, but very, very safe. And then Duncan, we know, has a ceiling off the bench. I think he's okay. Jamie should close. Probably should play high 20s minutes. I think he's okay for value as well. Prefer him to Caleb. Moving on to Boston. So tough to say right now. Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, they're both questionable. If they're both out, I would expect a starting lineup of probably Sam Hauser and Al Horford would be my guess. So Tatum, White, Drew, Al Horford, and Sam Hauser. So if Sam Hauser starts, I like him a lot for value. It's just in these spots when he's been inserted into the starting lineup, he plays a ton of minutes, a ton of minutes. He clearly has a ceiling as well. So we'll like Sam Hauser quite a bit. Peyton Pritchard will get a bump, especially if you're playing for blowout. He could get a bump. Probably going to play over 20 minutes regardless if these guys are out. So I like him for value. Al Horford would be very, very safe. Then it'd be bumps. Guys like Tatum, Derek White, Drew Holiday. If they're in, I'm probably just going to stay away from this team. And then if they're both out, probably going to get a bump for like Xavier Tillman as well. Moving on to Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell out, Max Strus out, Karis LeVert questionable, Isaac Okoro questionable. So if they're all out, I don't know what they're going to do with starting lineup here. They can go a number of ways, but Amani Bates, I believe, is with the G League. Craig Porter's going to back up Darius Garland. So the only combination that kind of makes sense to me is Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Jordan Niang, and Dean Wade. I guess. Keep an eye on it. I guess they could call up someone, but that's kind of the only thing that makes some sense to me, unless they start Sam Merrill. But I feel like they kind of like him coming off the bench. I mean, we'll see. But if all these guys are out, Sam Merrill, he's going to get a huge bump. I really like him at 4.1K for value. Niang going to get a bump. He's firmly in play. I'm not going to play Dean Wade, but he's playable. Garland, Allen, Mobley, they're going to have to do everything for this team. Even in this matchup, would really like all three. I don't know if I get to much else, though. I believe Pete Nance is with the team. Yeah, signed a two-way contract. Don't know much about him, but yeah. Keep it on the news here. If they're all in, and with Max Strus out, then Karis LeVert, I like quite a bit at 5.5K. Okoro is playable for value. And then Sam Merrill still firmly in play for value. And then the main guys still look decent. But ton of blowout risk here. Tough matchup. Just be careful with that. Checking the ownership. Main standout for me on Cleveland is Darius Garland. Of the main three guys. And then Mobley and then Allen. But yeah, looking at ownership, just keep in mind, if the Boston guys do play, a ton of blowout risk here. Moving on to, and a guy you could play, if you are playing for blowout, if the Boston guys do play, is a guy like Craig Porter Jr., who could absolutely nuke in a blowout. Kind of like a guy like Peyton Pritchard, right? So, yeah. Moving on to the Sixers. So I think Maxi's good play. You guys know, whenever Embiid's out, I always really like Maxi. Okay spot here going up against Brooklyn. I don't mind it. Tobias Harris is fine. Might be a bit over-owned after his last performances, but still priced right to me. And then Buddy Hield, it's okay. Minutes haven't been great of late with the new starting lineup. They've been starting Kyle Lowry and Mo Bamba. So more of a tournament play for me. Oubre, no thank you. Kyle Lowry at 5.2 seems priced right, even though he's been really, really good of late. And then Paul Reed, I am intrigued by, just because he's been playing a lot more off the bench when he was starting. We know he's a really solid point per minute guy. Also can get you defensive stats too. So like, I am intrigued by him just because the minutes have upticked off the bench. And then Mo Bamba should play teens minutes. His price point is up, so not a priority. Moving on to Brooklyn. Cam Thomas is out. Not sure about Ben Simmons. So if Ben Simmons is out, I really like Dennis Schroeder at 6K. He's playing 40 minutes. He has the ball in his hands a decent amount. Not scared of Philly defensively either. Going to get you probably close to double-digit assists as well. His assist rates are up of late. He usually needs to hit a shot to absolutely nuke. So if Ben's out, I like Dennis Schroeder. If Ben's in, Dennis Schroeder still did start with Ben Simmons in last game, but keep an eye on the lineup. And then another guy that's had a really, really good usage rate of late with Cam Thomas out is Cam Johnson. I think he's very, very safe. And then Claxton's a decent option. Mikal Bridges is fine. All right, good spot here for the Pels. I think Zion and Ingram both look solid at their price points. Not priorities here, but fine as like last pieces in for me. CJ, think I'd rather get up to like an Ingram, Zion. Jonas, Nance, they're kind of splitting the center position. Don't love much else there. Moving on to Toronto. So Pirtle out, Bruce Brown out, Scotty Barnes out. So you're probably going to get Kelly Olynyk at the 5. I really like him. Has power forward eligibility as well. We know he's a really solid point per minute guy. I would expect him to play a ton of minutes in this spot. So yeah, I think Kelly Olynyk is very, very solid. Also a spot where Jonas Valanciunas could lose a bit of minutes and they could go to more Larry Nance, but thought I mentioned that, I guess. And then Ochai Agbaji, he started last game. I like him quite a bit for value as well. He's a guy that's not scared to shoot the ball when he's out there. Can get you a few rebounds as well, played 33 minutes. Also, I believe Bruce Brown was not out the last game, right? Okay, he was out. Yeah, Ochai's minutes going to be very, very secure. And then Grady Dick is in play as well. Do not play Boucher. He doesn't get a bump. He DMP'd last game. And then, like RJ Barrett, like Emmanuel Quickley, a ton. Then Gary Trent has a ceiling, but I think I prefer the price point on Ochai Agbaji. Moving on to Orlando. So really good spot here. One guy I do like here for tournaments is Wendell Carter Jr. just because the range of outcomes with his minutes are going to be up. Some games he'll play 30, some games he'll play 20. But if you get a situation where he does play his 30 minutes here going up against Charlotte, he's going to feast. So like that price point on Wendell Carter Jr., Gary Harris is playable. If Markelle Fultz is out, it's going to be more run for guys like Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, but I'm not going to play either at their price points. Will be a slight bump to Jalen Suggs as well. I think Suggs is decent at 5.1K. And then I like Paolo, I like Franz. Moving on to Charlotte. So Nick Richards questionable, that's the big one. So if he's out, I still really like Grant Williams at 5.4K, even at that price point. His role in this team is really, really solid. It's not like Dallas, it's not like Boston. And he's starting at the 5 if Nick Richards is out, playing huge minutes as well. So I still really like Grant Williams, even at 5.4K. Trey Mann, Mitchell, they both started last game. Mitchell at 5K. Didn't hit a shot, but he's a stat sheet stuffer. He played huge minutes, like him at 5K as well. Trey Mann's fine, but I prefer Mitchell at that price point. And then Miller, Miles Bridges are solid options. Then I like Bertans as a contrarian value of 4K if Nick Richards is out. If Nick Richards is in, not going to play Bertans, not going to play, probably not going to play Grant Williams at that price point. And then I think the main guys are fine. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.